Thorney Weir is one of the most famous day ticket lakes in the UK, a 20-acre gravel pit with various islands, channels, bays, making it the perfect venue for the opportunist angler. Not to mention the ridiculous stock of carp. This autumn, me and a friend ventured down for a few short sessions to see if we could get our hands on one of the special carp that reside in this lake.
The problem with Thorney Weir is you don't see any familiar faces. You never see anyone that you know down at Thorney. Oh, look who it is.
Once I'd had a catch up with Steve, Alpar and I did a full lap of the lake, trying to decide where was best to set up for our first night. We checked out multiple swims, both open water and the snaggy little corners, but if I'm honest, we'd left it a little late. With only an hour or so until sunset, we decided to set up on the road bank, where we'd been told most of the carp have been holding up, and it also gave us a good viewpoint across the lake to move on any shows. If I'm honest, I'd much rather target the snags or the small bays, but the water clarity wasn't the best on this first trip, so locating the carp wasn't going to be that easy. Despite my lack of confidence, we got some rods out both in the margins and in open water with the plan to really get started at first light.
What a lovely morning, and you can probably hear that faint sizzling sound in the background. That is Mr. Alpar.
Hello.
And you know what it means when I'm with Alpar? It means
Proper
a little
breakfast.
Well, yeah, one, a proper breakfast, and two, a proper little social. Now, we're here for only 36 hours at Thorney Weir, a fishery I've wanted to fish for a very long time. I've been here once, a very fleeting visit with Henry. We didn't catch anything, but it was just quick overnight on the way through. But there's some epic carp in this lake, some really nice big old English scaly carp, and it's a place that I've wanted to fish, like I say, for a long time. It's in the Colne Valley, close to Farlows and a few other really well-known lakes. The weather has dropped off, you know, it's October now, the temperature's dropping, but we've got a couple of nice days of weather, and I'm really hopeful that we can catch a couple of carp. But unfortunately, we woke up this morning with nothing. The lake's pretty busy, there's not many options for swims. I did also go down late last night, right to the far corner of the lake, with the boat, with the deeper on it, and found some spots off the snags. Right in the far corner, there's some swims roped off, so there's no one down there, and I found that that's going to be a little, you know, plan B for me. If I don't catch anything, I can head off down there tonight, maybe do a night just under the stars on my bed chair. But that's pretty much it as to now. I'm going to have some breakfast with Alpar, chill out for a couple of minutes, and then it's time to rethink what I'm going to do with these rods to maximise catching in a short period on a busy day ticket lake.
After watching the water, there wasn't much to go off. However, the carp we had seen were off the back of a shallow bar about 40 yards in front of us. I had a few casts out with a bare lead just to make sure I'd be fishing over clean bottom, and then I got the rod wrapped up and began putting some bait out.
Is that another carp then? Oh, bosh.
Despite my slightly rusty spodding, I managed to get 10 accurately over the spot, followed by a couple of bright pop-ups. Alpar was set up to my left, fishing up against the snag on the entrance to the channel. As the morning passed by, I was starting to get itchy feet. This just wasn't my style of angling at all. I watched the water like a hawk, waiting for the first opportunity to present itself. And after some time, a carp did show, and right in the far corner of the lake, off the back of the wind where I'd baited against the snags. That was all I needed to see. It was time to move.
Right, we're getting somewhere. We've made the big move around the lake. As much as there was carp over there, it was just too much angling pressure. The people over there weren't catching. It felt like we were doing the same thing as everybody else, putting rods out in the middle, hoping the carp were going to drop down and feed. I really like the look of this corner. There's loads of overhanging snags. It's off the back of the wind. It's a lovely part of the lake. There's no one else fishing any of the swims around us, which of course just makes it that little bit more appealing. On top of that, we did see those carp show deep into this corner from the other side of the lake. So we're alternating the rods to make it nice and fair. I've got the first snag in the corner, Alpar's got the second, and then we're splitting. Oh, a bit of fizzing there, Alpar, look. See that? A little bit of fizzing. There's definitely carp around here. Then we've got a few rods in open water as well. It's like an egg box out here. It goes up to about 1.5 feet, then it all of a sudden drops off. The deepest spot we can find is the snags in 5 foot. Open water, we're getting about 3 foot, 8, 4 foot. So we've spread the rods just on the bottom of the shelf out in open water. Nice and minimalistic. I've put one rod in the edge as well. Oh, bosh, Alpar. Alpar, that was a big one. Mate, no joke. That was a big one, mate. A big mirror, 30-pound mirror. It's just clattered clean out in front of us. Exactly in the same spot we'd seen them showing from the other side of the lake. We're in the zone, we've got all the rods out on the money. I was just saying, I've got a rod out under that tree as well. A little single trap. Come on. I knew. I said to Alpar last night we should fish in this corner. But I'm glad that we've rested it. It's had no angling pressure. We've had some bait on the spots. And a big mirror's just lumped itself out. Loving it down here. Come on.
As the evening progressed, multiple carp crashed out in this little corner, leaving us both feeling very confident going into the night.
Waking up, huh?
Finally.
Finally.
We're into a carp. I say we're in. Alpar's in. It's an angry one. Don't know what time it is. Early hours of the morning, I think.
No idea.
A couple of bleeps. He's picked the rod up thinking it was a bream and it's torn off. Come on. I had quite a lot of fish showing in the night. I was adamant we were going to get a bite. Yes. Come on.
Shortly after netting Alpar's carp, my rod ripped off.
This feels big, mate. I'm not just saying it. It's either got weed around it or it's a good one. It feels really heavy, mate. Look how slow the head shakes are. It's like whoom, super slow. I could be just over exaggerating. It'd be like 20 pound, but it feels super slow. And the amount of line it took at the start, this could be a nice 30 pound of this. Look at the size of that, is it a lid? Oh, it's big. It's good, isn't it? Go on, it's not a linear though. Yes! Get in that net! Oh, I've worked hard for that one. It's not a big linear, it just had a big scar across it and I thought it was a load of linear scales. But that is mid-30 mirror. What a fight that was. Ah, oh, yes, Alpar.
Nice
Good
one,
move,
mate.
very good move.
The morning period was quiet, but we were both happy to have nicked a bite. Alpar's being a 20 pound common, and mine being a lovely leathery mirror.
Oh, nice, isn't he?
Very nice.
Slate grey one. Look at him. Lovely fish. Proper pristine one as well. Look at the mouth. Big mouth. Don't get caught a lot, does he, lot? 30 pound slate grey beast of a carp, and my first carp from Thorney Weir. Look at the mouth on it. Fought like a unit, and I'm not surprised why. Nice shoulders, really solid fish. And how's about that for a first bite? 30 pounder. We're definitely going to be back. In the next couple of weeks, we might do a couple more trips down here to see if we can catch a few of the nice big scaly ones. But that's definitely made this trip worthwhile for sure. Let's get packed up and get off home. Beast of a carp.
A few weeks passed by and I was back. The weather certainly didn't greet me with kindness. A cold wind and rain pushing down the lake. So I decided to watch from the comfort of my car, hoping to see signs of carp on the end of the wind. As soon as the rain stopped, I got mooching. I quickly noticed the water clarity had returned. It was tap clear. I checked out all the snaggy margins, then made my way to the back of the wind.
I've not put you off your counting, have I? 20, 18.
Don't write it down.
Yeah, it's hard to. Someone starts talking to you midway through wrapping up.
Despite there being a few anglers at the far end of the lake, it just felt right for a bite. Much warmer than being in the teeth of the wind. It was also the same area me and Alpar had had a few bites from, and from this swim I could keep an eye on the rest of the lake and check out the snags to my left and right too.
Although it's not ideal, there being an angler either side of me, this is the swim that I caught from last time. It's lovely off the back of the wind. I think this is going to be an area that the fish are going to be passing over, and I've got quite a lot of water out in front of me here. You know, the guy to the left's fishing in the corner and the guy next to me here is fishing straight out. So I've got this section here really nice and flat calm. I think this will do a couple of bites.
I wasted no time in getting my gear set up and getting some rods quietly out on the spot. Once again, using the bait boat and deeper to locate slightly deeper areas in front of me. As darkness fell, I sorted dinner, then had a quick chat with the lads next door and asked if they could watch over my rods whilst I checked out a few of the snags. The first thing I noticed was hundreds of this year's carp spawn, which was lovely to see. But it wasn't long until I caught a glimpse of a few decent ones too. It's fascinating watching them, so close and personal. I'd found a few really good areas to potentially move to at first light. Some of the fish were in and amongst snags that weren't accessible, but others close to swims where I could actually get a rod. As the sun came up and the rods remained stagnant, I began packing up, excited to get round to where I'd seen these carp.
Oh my god, there is so many carp sat under this tree. So many. Big ones as well. And they're all moving around. But they're right in the tree, they're not really on the outside of it, but I'm sure they're going to be coming in and out. Wow, that's so cool watching them. Big ones as well. Oh my gosh, there's at least 20 carp there. They certainly know they can't be fished for in this snag. There's about 12 carp in one huddle there. There's about 10 down here. There's about 10 down here. There's a few passing underneath me. From where I am, I can fish down to the edge here. That's the guy who was next to me round there. He's ran round as well. So I guess we're going to be sort of hitting the snag from each side, but you're not going to be getting right in. So whether or not the fish are going to be hungry enough to venture to the edge of the snag, I don't know, because right now they're sitting right in here. But it's certainly more exciting than being where there's no carp at all. So let's get that first rod out. Luckily I've got a barrow with me. It's only my second trip out using one. If I was carrying all my stuff, I'd have had absolutely no hope. But there's loads of carp in this snag to my right. The end of the wind, sitting in that little snag, they're happy. And they have got a little safe haven where they can't really be fished for, but I'm going to try and sneak a rod as close as I can. There's a little hole down there I can put one, and then I've got really good access to open water in front of me as well, and if the fish are following the wind, which it would appear they are because they're not off the back of the wind, I'm hoping I've got 24 hours left that I can nick a couple of bites, or maybe even more than that, you know. Weather's bang on, it's 15 degrees today, and that's really good weather for November, so everything's in my favour. Less talking, more action.
I got some fresh hooks on, then began dropping the rod on the edge of the snag.
It's pretty clean there, to be fair, from what I can see.
Just after I'd set the bobbin and was so confident of getting a bite.
Not a swim.
I said that when you were there though.
You could see my gear was here.
Yeah, I know, but when you were there I said, oh, I'm going to put one in here, and you didn't say anything.
Just to be clear, I called the bailiff and he did confirm that I couldn't fish towards the snag from this swim. This was gutting. I'd walked all the way to the furthest swim on the lake, found 50 carp in a snag, and wasn't able to fish for them. I just wish the angler would have told me when we were watching the carp together from the snag, as that would have saved me setting all my gear up and getting rods out for no reason. Anyway, whilst I was there, I did get some rods out in open water, as it's a very popular swim, but as the hours passed, I just felt like I was wasting my time, doing the same thing as everyone else, casting out into the middle and hoping.
I've just had a little walk, I've reeled in, I've come into this little corner, and there was literally about 10 carp on that gravel spot there. They all spooked off when I walked in. There's still 2 or 3 sat there now. I'm not happy with that spot I'm in, so I've been looking around here to move. I'm definitely going to move now, absolutely.
Before going back to get the gear, I did spread some bait along the snags to try and get the fish comfortably feeding without a line in the water.
Got about an hour until it's dark. Let's get some rods on that far bank and get a bite, shall we?
I had a few casts around with a bare lead up against the islands and around the swim just to see if I could find any spots, but it seemed the water was very shallow, and after seeing another carp show along that snag line I'd baited, I decided to focus all 3 rods along there.
There is some leaf matter on the bottom. I've got a semi-stiff coated braid material, quite long, and I'm fishing a really balanced hook bait, so that should sit nicely over those leaves, which is something to consider this time of year when you're fishing marginal spots. Just remember there's going to be a lot of sediment, leaf debris, twigs that have come off the trees, and you don't want to be fishing a rig like a stiff fluoro that's not going to present itself. But that's lovely there, look at that, 6 foot, nice and firm along the bottom. Let's drop that in there, perfect little hole, and I'm going to run round and throw some bait over the top just to spread the bait a little bit more.
The other rods were placed along the same margin, but well spread apart. I also played around with the hook bait colours and the baiting approach to try and maximise my chances of getting a bite.
Well, I'm tired from all the moving, that's for sure, but I'm feeling very, very confident about this spot. There's no one fishing this whole side of the lake now. The 2 lads over there, one went home and the other one's now fishing in the channel. So this whole side of the lake's quiet, off the back of the wind. I've seen carp down the margin here, I've seen carp on the margin over there. I've got 3 rods, bang on, I could see on the deeper, it was nice and clear. They went down with a solid drop. I'm super, super confident. The lesson for me is do not neglect the margins in the autumn. Although I've not caught anything yet, I know for a fact if I come back here in the next couple of weeks, I'll be roaming around and I'll be focusing all my efforts on the margin fishing. Unless I'm seeing bulks of fish show out in open water, I'm focusing on their margins. The fish are loving it under the snags. You can see the really clean fed on areas in all the edges. So I'm quietly confident I've got 1 more night left. If I don't catch, I will be coming back, but I'm hoping tonight's the night. 3 rods on the money, perfectly dropped with a deeper. Come on, the carp gods, please. finally. Oh, it's a good fish as well. Don't know if you can see it. It's a good fish. Come on. It's a nice big leather. I've had this fish on. I've honestly had this fish on for 5 minutes. It took me on a wild goose chase around the snags, managed to get it out. I've only just had a chance to switch the GoPro on. I was just focused on landing it. I don't know what time it is, but early in the morning. There it is, look. Oh, it's a lovely carp. Nice big leathery one. Come on, we need you in the net. We need you in the net. We need you in the net. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Oh, yes. Oh, you don't understand how happy I am. It's been a tough couple of days. I woke up about an hour ago thinking, how have I not caught one? And that is a lovely carp.
I got the rod straight back on the spot, with the hopes that I could nick another bite before leaving. The lake was certainly fishing hard. I hadn't heard of anyone else catching around the lake, and despite the carp shown in the snags all morning, it just seemed like they didn't want to feed. At least I'd managed to get that one bite for my efforts.
It's safe to say I've worked hard for this bite. The lake's not done a bite for 48 hours. This is the only carp that's come out. I think the clarity's had a big part to play in that. Last time I came here, it was really murky. There's a bit of an algae bloom, and it's gone gin clear, and no one seems to be catching around the lake. So I'm thrilled that after a couple of moves, I've managed to get on some fish, and finally one's taken the hook bait. A lovely one as well, decent upper 20, nice old leathery one. Made up with that. I'm definitely going to be back to this venue in the future, but I've got a winter campaign coming up starting next week, so this will be my last trip to Thorney for the autumn. Tough conditions, wasn't fishing easy, so I'm made up to end on a lovely carp. Thanks for watching the video, guys. Subscribe and like the video if you've enjoyed it, as it helps the channel and means I can get out and do more fishing. All the best out on the bank. Let's get you back.